Go. Yeah, go.
I appreciate that.
Missing one? Missing one?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's get going.
All right, a very warm welcome to everybody here today, especially the people in the public forum at our second to last community board meeting. So if you really enjoyed this, you can come back to the next one in August. Welcome to welcome to the community board team. It's good to see everybody here today, and everybody's getting a little bit nervous about the fact it's coming up to election time. So we'll see how we go. All right, I declare the meeting open and I call upon our governance officer or governance advisor, Jenna, to say a Karakia. Would you be upstanding? Those who wish to stand, those who don't wish to stand, remain seated.
Kia ora. Okay, karakia tūwhera. Tūtawa mai I runga, tūtawa mai I raro, tūtawa mai I roto, tūtawa mai I waho, kia tau ai te Māori tū, te Māori ora ki te katoa, humie, huie, tai kie.
Thank you very much, Jenna. Okay. Got no apologies. Ooh. There's no apologies today. So we'll go into 1.3, which is the public forum. So I just have a look on our run sheet, which I'm going to steal off thing. Our first speaker, and only speakers, is William and Marianne Brockbank. If you wish to come forward to the table, please. I think Jenna's giving you a little briefing on the microphones, has she? So if you want to use a microphone, you just make sure it's push that little button on the side there and they'll come up red on the stem like that. But red on the stem, keep the microphones close to you. Okay. So the reason we've got the microphones, there are people out there, we're on Zoom, there's people out there who are watching our community board meeting. And so you say your name so they know who's speaking. And then you've got 5 minutes, and at 4 minutes, you'll hear me go, "Nope," and that gives you a minute to wrap up. And then you have questions after that. There's no pressure. Take your time. You're the only speakers of public forum.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for allowing us to speak today and share our journey. We are Marianne and
William Brockbank.
from ADCR, Aotearoa Disaster and Community Resources. We are seeking funding to continue our mahi, supporting vulnerable communities through kai, connection and care. Our story begins after Cyclone Gabrielle. ADCR was born in response to Cyclone Gabrielle and the urgent need to support displaced whānau across the Hawke's Bay region. We began by collecting donations, large and small, and organising their transport and delivery into disaster-affected areas. We made wonderful trips a month over a year using truck, trailers and vans, sourcing bulk donations of potatoes, onions, flour, rice, meat and more. These donations were brought back to our base in Kopu, repacked and delivered to community hubs throughout the Hawke's Bay. We worked closely with hub team leaders to ensure we matched donations to the changing community needs. When something was urgently required, we didn't just have it. We picked up the phone, emailed businesses and travelled across the central North Island to find it. We saw heartbreak firsthand, neighbourhoods that looked like war zones, people with blank stares and shattered voices. The trauma was both physical and mental. After time, we turned our attention to our own local communities, where food insecurity is a daily struggle for many. An elderly army veteran, proud and quiet, living with a hose out the back for water, but always caring for others. A mother who kept her children at home because she had no food for their lunch boxes. A teenage boy that had lost a lot of weight, quietly giving his food to his younger sister. A pensioner collecting firewood to avoid losing his electricity. A mother who left her children in an unsafe home because she had no food to feed them, saying after receiving kai, "I'm going to get my kids, I can feed them now." We asked ourselves, can we do something more? Can we build a flat platform of hope, a way for communities to help each other? We believe that the true strength in any community is seen in how it looks after its most vulnerable members. Today, ADCR supports up to 70 schools from Manaia to Tika, Whata, Maramarua and the wider Thames and Karakia districts. We provide fresh produce, bread and kai boxes, and schools distribute at their discretion, as well as stocks for breakfast clubs, and the food is kept on hand for staff to use when needed. We prepare up to 200 kai boxes per week, as well as bulk deliveries of fruit, apples, oranges, pineapples, yoghurt pouches, and other healthy staples. One week, we even were able to include oranges and Tim Tams for morning teas at the local kuras. We met children who didn't know what a whole pineapple looked like. We support cancer patients on chemo who can't go to the supermarket, whānau with loved ones in hospice care, grandparents raising grandchildren, families facing tangis and whānau emergencies. One Christmas, thanks to a warehouse, volunteers and a zippy forklift driver, we packed and delivered 1,000 kai boxes to families and children in both Hawke's Bay and Thames. We don't just see these kai boxes as food, they're boxes of hope, a lifeline that says, you matter, someone cares. They're a way to connect, to check in and to let someone know that they're not alone. We're currently working to install freezers in every school that wants one, stocked with kai by ADCR and available to schools to use however they need to support their tamariki and whānau. ADCR is a registered charity with a governing board of 7. The day-to-day mahi is carried out by our whānau, ranging from the age from 1 to 76 years old, and a loyal team of volunteers who know how to, if they show up, it usually means getting handed a job. Recently, the scale of our work has grown beyond our current capabilities. We have in 2 weeks alone, we've received over 50 pallets of food. That's over 30,000 kilograms of frozen, chilled and dried goods. Bulk staples like flour that has to be broken down in a commercial kitchen. We continue to expand our impact and reach, and we are seeking funding to cover rental of a suitable building and running support for vehicles and salary for key roles to manage volunteers, forklift operations. We've attached letters to some schools we support, encourage you to reach out to any of our partners and communities for feedback. It is easy not to see, it is easy not to hear, yet it's much harder to do, and it's the doing that matters. A world wrapped up in red tape is easy to lose sight of what is truly important, but those things, dignity, compassion, community, must be in the heart of our decisions, and with power comes responsibility. We're asking for your help to keep doing this work. Thank you for taking the time to hear our story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Really appreciate that. I must say, it's fantastic the work you're doing. Absolutely amazing. So I'm aware of other groups and organisations doing something similar, but that is pretty amazing what you people are doing. So is there any questions from within the community board members, please? Oh, Councillor Rodley, followed by Councillor Sinclair behind the screen.
So I just wanted to check in the overview that we've got, it talks about 12 different schools, but you said 70?
17. So we
17, okay.
she misspoke. Those are the regular ones that we've given out on the paperwork, but there are a few more that we're not as regular with that we still support.
Right, if I may.
Another 5, and we're talking to more as well.
Okay.
As we don't have the logistics of getting to everyone every day, that we just try and do the best we can, but we're always trying to reach out to more schools and communicate what they might need.
Right, if I may ask a follow-up question. Sorry.
It's supplementary.
A supplementary. So I believe there used to be a fruit in schools program a few years ago, but I'm assuming that you're talking about taking boxes of fruit and stuff into school. So is it safe to assume that that other program no longer exists?
Sorry, it's before our work.
Okay.
I haven't heard any feedback from other schools about fruit in schools. I don't
Right.
think.
No, I haven't. There may have been a program, but we're
Yeah,
not
probably.
sure about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Councillor Sinclair.
Hi, thank you. And thank you for your work. I think this is very important stuff. You mentioned the need for a commercial kitchen. So presumably it's on the final page, and I've just skimmed it because I was listening to you talk. You say that you're planning a warehouse which would presumably have a commercial kitchen for doing that sort of thing. In the meantime, would access to a commercial kitchen, like for example, I think the civic centre sits empty for some of the time, would access to that commercial kitchen be genuinely helpful to the work that you do?
Yes, we have been using Alia's at the organic shops kitchen, and volunteers have been coming in and breaking down, because we get 20 kg bags of flour, and that's an ongoing thing, and rolled oats, and obviously more useful in smaller quantities for a lot of people. Yeah, but it could, yeah.
Okay.
Any further questions on this side? Deputy Chair, Rob.
Just you were saying that you'd quite like, well, as an estimate, $160,000. That would be a per year budget that you're thinking that you need, because 50,000 rental a year is what you think you need. 60,000 wages a year. So that would be ongoing.
That would be.
And the running
ongoing,
cost, yeah, 160. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we are looking for other funding streams as
Yeah,
well.
of course, yeah.
This is sort of the next step that we'd want to take to be able to continue the growing in the way that we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Revel.
Thanks. Look, I might have missed it in your presentation, but what's the origins of this? How did you get involved? Where did it start for you?
It probably started a long time ago. The driving force is probably my husband, and he's worked probably at the bottom of the cliff for like the last 30 years. And I think the force behind him is to be at the top and not deal with the heartache at the bottom. And he worked in emergency services, and for me, just making a difference to the kids. Yeah. And it probably started a long time ago for me. And now I'm an adult, I can do what I can.
And so ADCR, did you start ADCR or?
Yeah,
William's he's the paperwork man. Me and my husband are just the practical people, and all our children play a part in it, and we've had great support by Alia and people in the community that have helped us get to this stage.
we did start we pulled ADCR together after Cyclone Gabrielle, when we wanted to help some of the people that were affected by the floods, and also because we saw what happened with some of the community members. Yeah, we lived up the coast and we were locked in for a day or two, and we'd just sort of do whatever we could help to help for the people around here, and then try to collect donations through creating this organisation to then go and help further afield. And then once we were probably down there a year, carting donations back and forward to Hawke's Bay region, and then sort of turned our focus back to here in the community around here after the work we did.
Absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. And thank you for being who you are and for being motivated in the way you are. And, I know money is hard to come by, and, I got the sense that that's not going to stop you. You'll just figure out how to make your work happen. Well done. Thank you.
Any further questions around the table? On behalf of the Thames Community Board, thank you for coming here to the public forum. And also on behalf of Thames Community Board, thank you for what you're doing in our community and other communities for that matter, but we're particularly Thames focused. So we think it's just amazing, and we'll take time out and talk about your presentation today. No promises, but thank you for making us aware of what you're doing. I'm aware of it already because you provide food for Kai George's, so I'm quite aware of that already of what you're doing, but others around the table may not be. So sincerely, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It wasn't that bad after all, was it? Oh, sorry, thank you. Thank you, Jenna. Can we have a move and a second for the thank you. The Thames Community Board receives William and Marianne Brockbank as speakers in the public forum. That's moved by Councillor Sinclair, seconded by Councillor Rebel. All in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. You're right with that. You didn't. You did. Well, you moved it, so you weren't going to go against it. So I was on safe ground. Oh yeah, past 7-0. So there's no items today that are not on the agenda. So 1.4 we'll skip. 1.5, conflict of interest. Somebody may wish to declare a conflict of interest. Board Member Johnson will declare a conflict of interest on item 2.1. Noted. That's noted. Okay, 1.6. We have the minutes for confirmation. Might have a mover and a seconder for the minutes that we can receive the minutes. Moved by Deputy Chair Rob. Do we have a seconder, please? Board Member Rakwa. Is there anything that people wish to correct in the minutes? Bearing in mind that if you do that, you're calling out Jenna, so be careful. No, there being none. Thank you. I propose to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Again, unanimous decision. So item 2.1, this is where board member moves out, sits somewhere else. Thank you, Deputy. 2.1 is the public trust for license to occupy. And everybody knows where that little statue is down in the corner of Campbell and Pollen Street. Okay. Oh, I will go without you. Sorry, Nicole. How's the hip? Are you flew through the door all right? You came through.
Oh, it's good. It's great. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Welcome, Nicole.
It's up already.
We would have had it done.
Okay.
Okay, you want to just give a quick briefing on it, please?
Sure. This report is basically to consider recommending that council approve a new licence to occupy for the J. Hogan sculpture on the corner of Campbell and Pollen Street. They're seeking a term of 3 years and based on the same conditions as the current licence to occupy.
Thank you. Is there any questions of Nicole? Councillor Rebel?
Thanks very much. Nicole, has there ever been any other expression of interest from any groups who are saying, it would be nice if we could use that bit of land or anything?
No, not that I'm aware of, none, no.
Okay, so no, there's been no formal requests from anybody for council.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions of, oh, sorry, Board Member Rakwa?
Thank you, Chair. Please just trying to understand how that license to occupy works, how the process works, because I come across first time this one because I'm still learning. Would you able to tell us more about how this works and how can apply?
For a license to occupy?
Yes, please.
Basically, if you just want a space of land to actually install something like an art exhibit or anything like that, you can just apply to council, apply to me, let me know, and just where, and then we can do the research on what sort of land it is, if it's reserve or if it's fee simple land, and then just go from there and then get the appropriate approvals. So, yeah, it's basically.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, there'll be no further questions. Might have a mover and seconder, please. Hey? Yeah, we'll do, we could just do one and that's receive it, but I think because it's quite straightforward, I think we'll just move it as one motion, please. Well, do we have a mover? Yeah, mover, Board Member Rakwa, do we have a seconder? Board Member Holly McKenzie. Okay. As we've had a good discussion on, there'll be no further discussion proposed to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Declared carried, and it's noted that the deputy chair, I was going to say deputy mayor for a minute, the deputy chair was not seated at the table.
Okay, thank you all, and I'll see you a bit later.
Are you coming back?
Coming back. But
Oh, yeah.
I'll be more timely.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Seriously. Okay, 3.1. Let's see. There's a new bold in the room. Hey, did I say new bold again? That's bold. Sorry. Great when you come here, you get your name changed. Welcome.
Thank you.
3.1, which is the Thames Community Board CAPEX work program 22-23 and 22-23 and other operational information updates. We'll be out the door before you get to us.
Okay, so thank you, and through the chair this morning, I've got a little bit to talk to before I hand over to you for any questions. So what you will see today is in the overarching report, we've talked to the new projects coming online. Since that report was drafted, which is just shut on me, the Narumu Bay Domain Playground renewal, there's the potential that that will no longer be required because the parks team have resolved some of the challenges with regards to the headstone and movement. So we're in a holding pattern with that one at the moment until we get clear scope of work from the parks team. And the second new project for this current new financial year is the dump station. And as you'll note there, that we're doing some investigation work to identify where best to locate that, which will then again confirm our scope and deliverable. Then we move on to the standard updates, and I've got some information to provide with regards to that. So since the report was done, the Thames South Water Treatment Plant, the final land acquisition contract has been signed. So there is the final process to go to council to close that off. But that's a really significant milestone for that project because it allows us to proceed design construction because we've now got the land to build on. So a good win there. The other one that you will probably note is we do have a status red against the Thames clarifier replacement. Unfortunately, we tested the market and the market told us we couldn't afford a full replacement with the budget that's available. And so we are working with the water services team to look at what our options are. And it's looking likely that we will do some work with the existing clarifier and bring a new business case essentially to the next LTP for relooking at a new clarifier. But work is still underway on that.
This clarifier is clearing the incoming water for Thames Waters.
Yes, so it provides us with good, clean water.
So it's done at the point where it's received, not at the point where we uplift the water.
Getting a little bit technical from an engineering perspective, and I'm not a waters engineer, so I'm not going to be able to give you the specifics on that, but I can find out for you.
Probably too technical for me as well.
Essentially, it's an essential piece of kit to ensure that we, as a town, have water. We need to ensure that we've got something that is resilient and will do that job well for us. And so there is just an exercise to ensure we can use the existing one for another couple of years.
I was just worried in case we got the same situation we did some years ago where people bringing their dirty sheets, white sheets, and with brown stains on them from the water supply in Thames. So I hope we weren't going backwards that fast.
Hopefully not. That's why we're doing some work right now to make sure we don't have issues.
Thanks, thanks, Luke. So I think what I'm hearing is there's an expectation that the job that needs to be done is going to be a less expensive way of doing it.
No.
Right.
So the job that needs doing, which is replacement of an old clarifier with a new one, is currently too expensive against the budget we've got. The work staff are doing at the moment is looking at what we could do to renovate the existing clarifier to buy us some more time to then come back to the next LTP with a new business case for a new clarifier.
So you're saying that you're looking for a solution that could only ever be thought of as an interim solution.
Correct.
Before working out where you're going to find more money from.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the other updates are just live. So the Thornton Bay slip, so the Adams Road project construction works have been completed. The road is now fully open and fully operational again. So I know the local residents are going to be happy about that. The other update is the TIF toilets. So the consents have been issued. Works are underway. So we are progressing at pace to get those projects closed off as well within the funding timeline that I'd previously communicated. And lastly, the project on the page, just noting that we have encountered an issue and we're working through that. And that's just around the direction we're getting from central government around the RCP 6 compared to RCP 8, which technically is around what level you need to build to. And it's tightly around flooding and climate change kind of elements. It is early days for this issue. The team, we've got a design team that has been appointed now, and they are working at pace to identify and look at what our options are. And we will come back to this board at a future meeting with an update on that issue.
Sorry, which one's that, please?
Totra Valley.
Totra Valley.
Yes.
Right. I know.
Those are the updates and are available for any questions.
Just on that Totra Valley one, on the scope, I would presume that was approved in the 2024 council meeting, not
Yes,
2025.
we'll fix that.
I'd like to think that they were that proactive, but they're not. So we have any questions for Luke, please? Yes, Board Member Rakwa.
Thank you, Chair. What's the date for completion of Kupu Wharf toilets?
So the target is to hit the end of August for all of the toilets. Construction's underway at the moment. And so the turnaround for the prefab ones is a couple of weeks. So they're working on it.
Thank you.
Councillor Sinclair. Sorry.
Sorry, we'll just go back in time to the water clarifier. So I'm reassured that you have got this in hand, but not being a water engineer, I'm just like, we're absolutely assured that the clarifier that we've got at the moment is fit for purpose for the job that we need it for now. It's just future capacity and future planning for that asset's end of life that we're talking about.
Correct.
Cool, thank you.
Yes, the clarifier is old. It is at end of life. And so that's part of a standard renewal approach.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay. Thank you very much, Lou, for taking the lead in that, and Chair didn't have to go down the page one by one.
No problem.
I hope you censored it and just didn't leave out the important ones. They did them all. So somebody care to move that the Thames Community Board receives the Thames Community Board CAPEX work program 24-25 and other information updates. Moved by Board Member Rakwa, seconded by Councillor Rebel. Proposed to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Thank you very much. We'll catch you in August. Right, action schedule. Three 3.2. You want to lead that, please? Thing? For action schedule.
Morning, members. The action schedule records items from previous meetings where staff were to undertake some investigation. Do you want me to go through each item, or would you prefer just to have questions?
Well, so far ahead of schedule, you can go just quickly run down the page, please.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be having morning tea before we started.
The first item is in regard to pavers that have been lifting due to tree roots in Mary Street. You recall we had a discussion about this at the last meeting. We were waiting for the 1st of July for a new budget to be available. I checked with James McHardy, and the works have been passed over to the parks team. So Matthew Allnut will be leading that, and so he's aware of it and has scheduled the works.
So
The
that's
next-
schedule.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so it would be interesting to know, so the board just didn't rush around willy-nilly and looking at various places as to which areas they're going to look at, please. Like, for example, there are some urgent places that have serious tree root problems, such as outside the Imperial Hotel, outside Bell and Bean, outside ANZ, and it would be nice if we got a list
So they
from the roading
roading
team.
team prioritised them.
Yeah, I know they might do, but we'd like to know what they're prioritising too,
Okay, I'll find that out.
please. Otherwise, we're all going to walk around and say, why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that?
So the action item is about the Mary Street paver. So that was your
Yeah,
priority at the time.
yep,
And then
for sure.
others have been prioritised as
But they've been around and assessed them by the looks of this here.
well.
Pavers have been assessed. So which one? Is it Councillor Rodley?
So I'd just like to check with you, Rose. So you said you had a meeting with the roading team, but now for the pavers around Mary Street, it's gone to Parks and Reserve.
So the
But then
reason-
you also, in the next comment you made was then talking about the roading team again, so I'm a bit confused.
So the reason for that is because they're around trees, and so our contractor the parks contractor will be doing those ones. Yeah.
Right. So that
So I'll
whole-
get an update and I'll come back to you on the Mary Street pavers and then where the other areas fall in terms of priorities.
And it would be, if I may again, if it would be useful to know, because I know around, well, I think a whole lot of tree surrounds in the Thames urban area have an additional
Yep.
square thing of pavers that are raised up a little bit closest to those rubbery root cover thingies. So are they going to be looked at as well?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Because they are, I mean, I don't, for the life of me, don't know why they are significantly higher than the pavers around them. And I know we're getting into a level of operational detail here, but I would hate to see work done there and those trip hazards left at that height, because for me, doesn't seem any conceivable reason as to why it's done like that.
So the action schedule was about the Mary Street pavers. They were prioritised along with all the others that have been noted as being raised. So if there is a specific area that you know of, I can check.
Yeah, this is the Mary Street, because there's about 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, so
about
they've
5 or
looked
6
they've
trees.
looked at them. Yeah, all of them.
Right.
So thank you very much. The real problem about that, Rosaline, is that they are serious trip hazards. And let's not wait until somebody has a fall and breaks an ankle or a leg or something before we actually action them. And not only that, an absolute eyesore. And if you've got to take pride in your town, we would do something about the ones outside the Imperial Hotel, which have had the capping around them. The capping's now missing and has been missing for 3 years. And I sometimes wonder, of course, that's Ventia, who do the street maintenance, why they haven't reported that and had that looked at. It's terrible. And I'm thinking probably to do away with little paving cappings and maybe put a small timber capping around them. It just denotes where the tree is. It also stops spill from debris coming from the tree and across there, like there's a little bit of bark type material around the trees and stops that debris going onto a footpath. But I think we really need to look at these things. These are the things that business in town look at and think, oh my goodness me. They don't really care very much about their town when they don't care about the small things like the capping around the trees and things like that. Councillor Rebel, I see you.
Yeah, look, I'd just like to add to Councillor Rodley's comment. I was involved in rescuing Bill Chatterton, who hopped out of his car and walked to the seat outside Carson's bookshop and tripped over the very edging that Councillor Rodley's talking about. He was actually on his way to the airport and he was stopping off to buy a book and what have you. He ended up landing flat on his face with a bloody nose and what have you. And it was exactly the thing that Martin's talking about. As he got out of his car, it was that lip around that edging that caused his fall.
Thank you. I've noted that particular spot. Moving down the schedule, the next one is the area outside the Thames Museum. So a solid line has been painted adjacent to the footpath on Cochrane Street, and the new car parks have been marked there. Next one is,
If you just want the chair's comment about that, it looks dreadful. And they've got a small car park at the end of it. I thought they would just run out the lines and forget about the little car park right by the access way into the back of the museum. To be honest, it's done nothing for the area, and in fact, I think we would have been much better off if we had gone back to Plan A.
I did investigate the writing team did investigate the drain suggestion, and that was going to have a rate impact. And so this is the next best option for them.
No, but this is the next option, not the best.
We have been given a very strong message as staff
Mm.
to keep the rates at the current, at the budgeted level. So that's the outcome. Moving on to the next item, Thames Sub-Regional Aquatic Facility. There was a council workshop on the 12th of June, and the council discussed the aquatic facilities. They would like to see a strategy for aquatic provision across the district. And so that is something that the activity manager has been tasked with arranging. The next item is the Pirate Park fencing and path. So why the path and fencing renewals were done? And the reason for that is because they weren't part of that project scope. And so they were completed after the project was finished. Have you got any questions about that?
Sorry, can I just skip back to the sub-regional aquatic facility?
Yes.
How are we going about with communication out to the community? Because there seems to be a lot of emails. Is everyone getting those emails? Okay. There seems to be a lot of emails coming back and forward at the moment with people's concerns about the pool. I just think it's important that there's a lot of people at the moment that need to know what's going on, that we just keep them in the loop, because I think it's an anxious area for the community at the moment.
So,
Permission from the chair?
Whoa. Sorry. What was your question?
My question is are we still communicating with the community on discussions that are being held at council, and just how are we going about that?
So the next step is that a report needs to be presented to the council with, what decision is the council going to make? So the council hasn't made a decision. All that was at the workshop was a discussion about the project, given that the community board has recommended its preferred option to the council. And in terms of the business case, the council needs to adopt the business case. The community board couldn't do that. And so the next step is a report to the council by the activity manager. In terms of the communication with the public, I think that's a very important point that you've raised. We need to ensure that not only the public are kept informed, but also our key stakeholders, which include Thames High School. So, Adrian, is it okay with you if Kate comments? Because I don't have any other information about comms at the moment, but Kate clearly does.
So what information do you have, Kate, please?
So I'm Kate O'Malley. I'm responsible for the communications on the aquatic project.
Right.
You raise a really important point, Holly, but at the moment, as Rose said, there's been no decision made. So actually speculating, we have communicated and worked with Luke's team very well about the recommendation that was supposed to go to council, that was agreed by the community board in kind of autumn and was supposed to go to the council. At the moment, as someone used a phrase, it's in a holding pattern while people look at equity about funding of pools in other parts of the district, and there's considerable debate of which you guys are more aware than me. So at the moment, it would do more harm than good to communicate that there is no decision made, not because people are slacking or delaying, but because all these very important considerations about where ratepayers' money goes and what is the best use of ratepayers' money and how can we fund this facility that the whole of the council wants to happen and that the community is very passionate about. So at the moment, usually I'm like, let's communicate, but I think it would send people off in the wrong direction and make them feel like a decision has been made or is imminent. And I've been told, and this is, I don't know that it's confidential, but that it's not likely there'll be any decision till next year. So sort of speculation, but it's really good research that's being done about costs, about ways of making it affordable to the community. Thank you for
Kate, thanks.
So just on that aspect there, Board Member McKenzie, as I attended that meeting through the back door, and it was quite, we've got 3 councillors sitting here anyway, it was quite complicated, quite aggressive meeting in terms of that they were not thinking of funding the Thames pool, and they wanted to know why Thames pool would be funded by the district, and pointed out that Coromandel, Mercury Bay and Whangamata have their own pools. Then it came into a more of a complicated system whereby paying the upgrade and maintenance on those other 3 pools, and maybe Thames pool could come into that. So they've gone away to think about how they can look after the aquatic centres around the district to the best of their ability. And I think it's fair to say there's very little appetite to pick up the tab for Thames. Those emails you're getting are part of that Thames needs a pool group. They're not actually spontaneous. They've all got the same theme running through them. So the deputy chair did point out to me that the one by Rainbow had, that lady has a background in pools, and I'll be ringing her to find out more information. I'll be ringing her to find out more information about what she feels about pools and her thoughts about a pool. But at the moment, if you're looking at capping rates program coming in before December, it's getting further and further away from our grasp. Councillor Rodley?
No.
Oh, no, you speak on behalf of Councillor Sinclair? No. No, we're on to it because that's here. No, but our governance advisor,
I'm making myself known.
right onto it. And Robin doesn't want to be seen today.
Even wore a nice dress. I want to be seen. No, I am replying. I'm getting these emails as well, and I know that there's a lot of concern in the community because people maybe are hearing things and maybe. So I'm replying to every single message and genuinely thanking them for the information that they're giving me, because that's all human side of the balance sheet that we're not seeing otherwise. So when you just see a number, on the page, it looks a bit scary, but if you can attach human stories to that, then that's a completely different thing. So I'm very grateful for all of those emails, and I am responding to each one. And so I think we should take the emails in the spirit in which they are coming, and that people are concerned and people want to share their concerns and people feel they've got important data to share with us about their feelings in the pool. So I think that's the spirit in which we should take them. The other thing is, it has been suggested before by myself in this room, but also on WhatsApp, the community board's presence at the pool, just going down and swim a few laps or walk a few laps or just dunk your head under, is probably going to be really important to reassure people that we have heard that they are passionate about wanting pool facilities. And if you're a little bit scared of going to the pool by yourself, I will come with you. I will also swim rather than just watching you while you flounder in the water. So this is my open invitation to you.
So just wanting to follow on from Board Member Mackenzie's query about communications. And this was raised last year, and several people have spoken to me who went along to the user forums and the feasibility studies and the various events and things that we held last year before, over the course of the last couple of years. And at all those events, they were invited to put their contact details in. And I have had a number of people who have said they've never had any follow-up. And we have potentially on that list dozens, if not more, people who are stakeholders in this. And whether that's a issue with the consultant or whether we haven't actually got a clear plan about using those addresses which have been provided with us. So I'm disappointed that that hasn't happened, because these are people who have indicated have got out of the house and gone and engaged with us in an expectation that their concerns and their interest will be reflected in what we do. And I disagree with the idea that that not giving people information is safer. I think in a vacuum, things will always be there will always be speculation and rumours and things, and I think we owe it to our public who gave a damn about the pool, came along to all these things, to actually keep them informed.
So we're going to cut this at this point here. Just, I don't know who went through their computers last night and read the report on where community boards and councils fit together. Did anybody else read that? And one of the items was the lack of communications between board and council and boards and the public we serve. So it's worth reading it and seeing just how LGNZ see us and council going forward. But communication is number one of one of those items on that agenda. All right. Yes. Continue on. See.
Okay, thanks. The next item is the bus shelter at the corner of Totara Valley Road and Ngāti Highway. So yeah, I contacted NZTA Waka Kotahi about that, and they advised that the bus shelter is in the most safe place in that area. So I also found out that TCDC doesn't own that bus shelter, and neither does NZTA. It was installed via a community initiative about 7 or 8 years ago, and there were other bus shelters installed around the peninsula at the same time, around the same time.
In New Zealand.
Yeah. So, Holly.
I'm glad you said that, because that was part of my question. I think if it's possible moving forward, because ever since there was that construction, obviously around widening that road there, it was picked up and moved and chucked and thrown around. The bus shelter isn't getting used to its full potential because of the way it's just been placed there and overgrown grass. Who's responsible for mowing that area out the front there? And is it something maybe the community board could, I don't know if you call it pick up, but there's a lot of high school students and primary school students who sit out there in the cold and don't use it because it's not fixed down properly, or it's not safe. So is it something that as an initiative we should, because this was also discussed in our last year in our advanced learners group, the kids also did bring up the bus shelter situation. So is it something moving forward that we probably should do, or see if we could pass on to see if it can get fixed, because it's not getting utilised because of its location and safety of it?
I was just going to say, my understanding, I looked back at the history of it, and my understanding is that Total Span installed it and were responsible for maintenance on it. But what you're talking about is not necessarily maintenance. It sounds like it's more securing it to the so it's not unstable, is that?
The short answer to the whole of this is when they upgrade that intersection on Tocha Valley Road, State Highway 25, they moved the shelter to one side and they have not put it back where it was. That's the short answer. As to who maintains and mows that area, that's part of the maintenance for State Highway 25 going forward. But it is, if you stop, get out of the vehicle and walk across, it's a hell of a mess. There's stones, there's rubbish all through the grass and everything. Yes, it does need putting back. You're correct. Total Span put those there free of charge for children to be able to. We turned down others that Total Span offered us at the community board level in other areas around here, but that's one that they did put in place. And maybe we could speak to Total Span and ask them to reposition it and pay them to do so, or see if they're willing to do that within their own charitable thoughts about it, where they're prepared to do it. But you're correct in almost all the things you say about it. We just got to move and do something about it. And it was in the back of my mind that it is probably best where it is at the moment until we start doing Tocha Valley Road proper again, which is coming into next year, because it'll be shifted again. If somebody puts it correctly, they'll shift it because all the machinery they have going up and down Tocha Valley Road. So that was the sort of thing I sat back on and said, oh, well, they'll be starting this year. Unfortunately, they're not starting in 2025. And in fact, I don't think they actually start work until close to the end of 26, start of 27. But that's what will happen to it if they shift it back and put it in there permanently. They'll have to shift it out of the way for equipment work on that road. Yes, Councillor Rodley, followed by Councillor Board Member Rakwa and the Deputy Chair.
Is there an option to look at who did the various work there and just say to them, or whoever was coordinating, hey, this wasn't done, or is it long gone, that opportunity? Because it just seems like you move something when you're doing a project, like you kind of need to put stuff back. So it seems to me that.
No, you're right. I've just got one of those messages from the governance advisor. So it's fair to say, yes, you're right. Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. Totally agree what you said about this. But meanwhile, if we ask to the people who does the mowing grass stuff, keep that place tidy, that will look much better.
Yeah, it's not us, it's NZTA, but Higgins in charge of that. Deputy Chair.
I just think none of that will happen. I think so. Can we please just, who's going to do something? Literally, is it area managers going to speak to Total Span?
So all we need to do is ask Luke, or the roading manager, who did that work there. I'm not too sure who did the work there, and see if we can have something done at least on a temporary basis, like at least tidied up. And you see it's a bit skewed out around the base, but it will be shifted when they start the major work on that road, for sure.
Sure, but we need it.
Short term,
settled down now. I'm just offering.
Yeah, especially if they don't get started till 2027.
Yeah, I'm just offering
I'll
voluntary assistance.
Yeah.
Did you say blowing down?
Has it? It's usually got some cars parked in front of it for sale most times. Really? That's worse.
Okay, I've got two actions. One is contacting our NZTA Wakakotahi to ascertain whether or not they would be willing to do any maintenance on State Highway, on the road verge there in that location. And the second one is to talk to the project delivery manager in regard to whether or not a contractor can
They're long gone.
do anything there in terms of safety, because council doesn't own it and Wakakotahi doesn't own it, ZTA doesn't own it.
It's just going to be interesting when
Once it's formed to.
but when you ask NZTA about it, we really need to see if NZTA gave approval for it to go there, in case they say, oh, it might be opening a can of worms. Deputy Chair.
Can I be given leave then as the community board rep to go and speak to Total Span?
Just, what was the
Can I
last
be
name?
given leave or the okay to speak to Total Span directly rather than going
Yeah.
through all this convoluted
I
sort of
personally
number of people?
have, no problem with self-initiative.
Right, thank you.
Just don't take all the credit for it.
Just
Share
be
it
aware of
amongst the
that
board.
they're new owners. They are new owners, so they probably weren't the original owners who did that 70.
They're the ones that put it there in the first place. They did them all over the country.
Yeah, I'm just saying that for the last couple of
Oh,
years.
the owners of Total Span.
I knew
Gotcha.
this. Yeah.
It's their name on it, irrespective. Very good. Thank you, Board Member Mackenzie. Oh, Councillor Revel.
Yeah, look, I would just like to make a comment that I think I find it very interesting we're having this conversation. I would have thought that people were concerned that they would have, first step would have been to log a request for service, which then would have gone in and got circulated around the appropriate staff and probably something done without us having to spend the last 20 minutes talking about the bus shelter. And I just want to advocate for the request for service process. And I think we need to encourage our ratepayers and our residents to use the request for service process. It gets in the system, it gets logged, it gets tracked, and so on. And it means that we don't tie up time as we have done talking very, very operationally.
You've just extended that time. You've just extended that time.
Only marginally.
So you happy for me to take this off because we will try and get it resolved as best we can, given it's not a council asset and it's not.
Absolutely, because even though Councillor Revel spoke about a request for service, et cetera, it's not our bus shelter, it's not our property, and it's not our land. So, but you can ask for a request for service by all means. But in this particular case, it was raised by a board member in relation to that area and advocating on behalf of the community.
Yeah.
And I've had discussions with the area manager about it recently, and we came to the conclusion that this is what will be the best option.
I'd just like to summarise by saying it's really important when something new is installed or built that there is an owner and you're really clear who that owner is.
Yep.
And then there's someone, an organisation to maintain it, and you're really clear when you
Correct.
make the decision who that is.
Correct. And that's why we turned down the other places they wanted to put it.
Moving on to the next item. The car park and boat ramp at Kopu Marine. So this was raised and the Harbour Facilities and Services Officer has been in contact with Ruth Efford. That was quite a while ago and spent some time on the phone with her. And our contractor will be clearing the debris from the boat ramp on a regular basis. That's now been arranged.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any questions of area engineer, area manager with regards to the action schedule? There being none. Ooh, did we receive her report? Yes, we do. The Thames Community Board received the action schedule report dated the 25th of June 2025. Do I have a mover for that, please? Board Member Mackenzie, do we have a seconder? I'll second it for lack of interest. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. (3.3). What's 3.3?
Can I just ask a question at this point? As I look at the run sheet, the chairperson's report has got 55 minutes. Could I please be assured that it will not be a 55-minute item?
Read the small print. Read the small print. You're lucky you get a chairperson's report. You wouldn't know what's happening otherwise. Following on the comment of the councillor, shall we take it as being read? So then I can ask you questions in the next 55 minutes. What's in the report? Yes, Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair, and also thanks to chasing the Kopu roundabout. Hopefully, Kopu roundabout look better one day, and thanks for that. And if you like to add one more in your list, KFC roundabout tidy up, that would be great.
Yeah, no, we're working on it. So the 55-minute. Did you want to say something about the property? You asked me to put in there about the property head. No, you didn't. Okay, so the Thames Community Board received the Chairperson Report dated the 17th of July 2025. Also move. Do we have a seconder, please? Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. Anybody on this side want to say? Seconded by Council Rep. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declare carried. Right. At 12 o'clock, we'll have 3.4. What are we going to do between now and 12 o'clock? Times are indicative, I know. Okay. We're going to go into public excluded. Oh. Moved by Councillor Sinclair, seconded by Deputy Chair